Hello students, here we are with our new topic which is on ratio and phase angle error. This topic is from our unit 3 which is instrument transformer. In this topic first we have to be differentiate between the three type of ratios which is transformer ratio, nominal ratio and turn ratios. Okay. Now first we will discuss about the transformer ratio is basically depend upon the load of a system in case of CT for primary to secondary ratio of a current, and in case of particularly PT it is depend upon the primary and secondary voltages. Okay. Now for sake of example we have some instrument transformer which is PT. It is put in shunt of a our particular line. The transformer you see having some voltmeter. Okay. As we also discussed in our lectures, PT is put as a step down transformer. Okay. So we will have some step down transformer having rated turn ratio of 100 to the power 1. Okay. And for sake of example we will take it as a 10 kVA rated transformer. Okay. Now assume some line to line voltage in this type of instrument transformer to be for the measurement of a voltage it should be 1000 volt. Then our potential transformer read it to be 10 volt. This ratio between our particularly instrument transformer which is 1000 divided by 10, this is called transformation ratio, where talking about the nominal ratio. Okay, what is now nominal ratio? So nominal ratio can be 100:1, 100 volt divided by 1 volt. It can be one of the rated primary voltage upon rated secondary voltage ratio for PT. So this transformer ratio which is thousands to power 10 and nominal ratio which is hundreds to power 1 can be different. Okay. So in case of ideal case, when we see transformer ratio and nominal ratio are equal, but in case of practicality this transformation in ideal case when we where no losses are there, the transformation is same as of nominal ratio, but in case of some losses like our copper losses and iron losses, this ratio can be 100,000 power 8. Okay. So as you see in case of losses, okay, some voltage to be dropped in case of copper loss or in case of iron losses, as we discuss in next slide, that the transformer ratio can be 1000 to ratio 8, where nominal ratio is 100 to power 1, which is not equal in case of practical transformers. Okay, where in case of ideal transformers, transformer ratio and nominal ratios are equal. TR is equal to NR in case of ideal transformers. Okay. Now talk about the turn ratio. Turn ratio is simply a definition between the turns of are CT and PT. In case of potential transformer, it is step down. As we discussed in our previous example, it is 100 to power 1. In case of CT, it can be step up transformer. Okay, secondary upon primary for the CT ratio. Okay, now as you see, the transformer ratio and nominal ratio in case of practical transformers are not equal. Okay, this type of error in the ratio make the instrument reading to be incorrect. So some ratio correction factor to be included, which is RCF. It is ratio between the transformer ratio and nominal ratio. Okay, the ratio marked on transformer is their nominal ratio. So from this we will conclude that transformer ratio are not equal to nominal ratio in case of practical transformer. So we have to be find out why and how the our particular losses like core loss and copper losses affect directly our the ratios of our instrument transformers. For this, first we have to be try about CT, which is current transformer. In this particular lecture, we will focusing only on current transformer and see how the turn ratio is been not equal in case of transformer ratio and nominal ratio and causes a turn ratio error in our CT. First, we have to be see the relationship between in CT where we should have to be give detailed derivation for our equivalent circuit diagram. You will also see this type of diagram in your basic electrical where we have some transformer representing the different type of losses like our copper loss, leakage reactance losses, are particularly iron losses. You will see this representations also in previous where VP and VS represented as are particularly primary and secondary voltages where we have RP and RS to be primary and secondary resistance of our particular transformer where they represented as a copper loss in primary and secondary voltage where XP and XS represented as a primary and secondary leakage reactance represented as a leakage flux losses in our primary and secondary winding. This particular primary and secondary losses represented by our copper loss and particular leakage reactance loss basically give how why and how the voltage drop is occur in transformer. Take some example as you have some provided in previous example where you put the 1000 volt in our particular primary winding for our reading in our secondary side, which is we provided some instrument transformer which is PT. Then there should be some voltage drop provided by RP and RS. Assume it to be 10 volts. Now the ER, which is EP, which is our induced primary voltage, it to be 990 volt. Now as we discussed the turn ratio, which is in our previous the slide, we will see it is to be 100:1. So this 990, it is this secondary voltage induced by giving the relation of turn ratio which is 100:1 and our primary voltage induced in our particularly primary side, then EP upon ES 100/1 where EP equal to 990, then secondary voltage induced it is 9.9 volt. Okay, this is a voltage induced in our secondary voltage. Now again this secondary resistance representing copper loss in secondary winding, and access to be leakage reactance followed some another voltage drop in our secondary winding. Assume it to be plus minus 1.9 volt. Now the voltage remaining to be 8 volt in our secondary voltage, which is Vs. This voltage to be measured by our potential transformer provided on our secondary side. So you will see how our particularly turn ratio Y, transformer ratio Y will not be equal to our particularly nominal ratio. Here we will conclude that when we provided some 1000 volt to our Vp primary side, the secondary voltage which is measured voltage on PT, it is only 8 volt, where induced voltages in our primary and secondary voltage are 990 and 9.9. This this turn ratio is we call transformer ratio, and this 990 by 9.9 we call nominal ratio. These are not equal in case of practical transformer due to our copper losses and leakage reactance losses in our particular transformer. Now we have also some other type of losses, which is our particularly core loss. We will also set it as to be iron loss. This iron loss we will discuss in our basic electrical. It to be our particularly hysteresis loss and eddy current losses. This particular our copper loss represented in our particular equivalent circuit diagram to be I0, no load current, which is furtherly divided into two components. IC, core loss component, represented to be minimizing the core loss of a transformer, and IM to be magnetizing current given to give the prominent magnetic field to our transformer. So this equivalent circuit diagram representation also have some working flux which is flowing our particular core. Okay, now we will discuss this particular equivalent circuit diagram in term of phasor diagram also. Now when we talk about the phasor diagram of our particular transformer, where we have E1 and E2 to be the induced voltages in our particular transformers, where phi flux to be flowing in the core is lagging behind by our induced voltage E1, where IC is a core loss current is in 90 degree with our core flux, but is in phase with E1, where magnetizing current is in same phase with our particular core flux. These two components making some equivalent current, which is no load current, represented in our particular equivalent circuit diagram, where we will also have some another current, which is we call some compensating current, or we say it is IS dash. This IS dash, first we discuss about the secondary current. Okay, this secondary current is flow in the secondary of our transformer, where some compensating current is flowing in our primary current. We will denote in this phasor diagram it to be IS dash, where the phasor sum of two IS dash and I0 from our previous equivalent circuit diagram, it will give a primary current I1. Okay, it is a component which will give I1, which is primary current, or we say in other words that primary current is further distributed in two parts. First is our compensating current IS dash, and second is I0, no load current. Okay, this particular IS dash, which is our compensating current, can be represented in term as is dash, which is in primary side, and is which is in secondary side, as n2 upon n1. Okay, so is dash can be represented as is multiplied by n2 upon n1. Okay, so it can be written as, this compensating current can be written as is into k, which is our turn ratio. Okay, as we also discuss in the next slide, where we represent our compensating current is in term of secondary current. Okay, as we discussed this type of phasor diagram, we can take some example. It will be a lagging load type of phasor diagram, where our secondary current is lagging behind our E2, where we have some voltage drop of our copper loss and reactance loss in secondary side, also give some voltage which is V2. Okay, by in conclusion with our particularly resistive voltage drop, which is ISR2, and our reactance loss, which is ISX2. Okay, in the previous lectures we also discussed this, how V2 is always be less than E2. So now main point where we have to be discussed about the derivations for the turn ratio. Here we extend our is dash compensating current further, where we provide some perpendicular bisector from primary current, which is shown in particular figure. This we provide some perpendicular bisector. This perpendicular bisector is 90 degree, where we have some angle between the no load current and our flux to be alpha. Okay, some representation notations also there. The angle between the E1 voltage induced and our compensating current to be our del, we will assume also that, where the angle between our particular perpendicular bisector we will discuss to be always be a 90 degree. Now for a triangle, you will see, for a particular rectangle OA, B, C and D, okay, where we have some 90 degree angle at BAC, we will take some triangle ABC. In this particular rectangle OABCDO, okay, we will take the triangle only ABC, triangle which is here we have taken 90 degree, which is on B. We have some hypotenuse A to C, which will represent as I0, which is no load current. So we have to be discuss about its component BC and AB in our next slide. Okay, as you see in this particular triangle, the angle between particular AB and C we have to be find out. First we have to be find out, for the sake of derivation, the angle between the AB and AC. As you see, the angle basically the angle between AB and AC is basically between the is dash, which is between is dash and I0. So for finding out the angle between AB and AC, which is between I0 and is dash, you will see is dash is this and I0 is this representation. Now we have to be find the angle between two of them. So when we have take this to be a 90-degree angle, the angle between I0 and IS to be 90 degree minus del minus alpha. Okay, this is 90 degree and subtract some del angle and alpha angle, so we'll get this angle only. Okay, so this angle is 90 minus del minus alpha, so 90 minus del minus alpha between angle between AB and AC. So as we discussed, the angle between the AB and AC to be 90 minus del minus alpha, where AC represented as a no load current and OA represented as a our particularly compensating current, when OC represented as our primary current. So we'll discuss some derivation. As we discussed in previous, this AC represented as a AB and ABC represented as a one of the component of our no load current, where angle between AB and AC to be 90 minus del minus alpha. Take some component. For taking the component, I0 to be BC to be I0 sine 90 minus del minus alpha, where AB to be I0 cos del minus alpha. You will see AB and BC. As we also convert this sine angle 90 minus del alpha to be cos del minus alpha and sine del plus alpha. For a triangle OABC, we have OC to be hypotenuse, when OB and BC are the base and height of our particular rectangle OBC, where OA can be further divided to be OA and AB, adding toward this, and BC this whole square. Now put the values as we discussed in previous also. OA represented as NIS from there. Okay. Now AB is come there from this. Now talking about the BC, we will put this. All of these are put in our particular next equation. Now we have to be simplify our particular equations. So after simplifying our equation further, where OC represented as a primary current whole square. Okay, now open the whole squaring bracket of NIS I0 sin del alpha plus alpha square and I0 cos del plus alpha ka whole square. So we will get this type of equations. After simplifying it, we will have n square I0 sin square del plus alpha plus cos square del plus alpha. Okay, as we discussed, sin square alpha, sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. So we say it is only I0. 2 NIS is also there and INIS is also there. Okay, these are simplified equations. Okay, you will see this equation closely. This will represented as a square plus b equation, a plus b ka whole square, where a square plus b square plus 2ab represented in our particular this equation. You will see NIS is equal to a square, a0 equal to b square, and 2 NIS I0 sin del plus alpha represented as a 2ab. Okay. So this primary current, which will represented in our equation 1 to be n square I square I0 whole square to ns I0 sin del alpha represented here. So we'll provided our transformer ratio equation, which will give between the primary current and secondary current, represented our equation 2. Now moving forward, This, as well discussed, we have to be compress our particularly this equation into a square b square. This particular equation is our particular this equation, which is turn ratio, and our numerator we have to be convert in form of a plus b ka whole square. We have to be converted into a square b square, but we have to be finally we have to be neglect this sine square del plus alpha first for the comprehension of our particular equation into a plus b ka whole square. So we will assume for this, we assume that our no load current, which is 1 to 4% of our rated current, okay, which is much higher than no load current. Then we will also say that I0, then we'll as we say, no load current can be very small, like 1 milliampere or 1 microampere can be. Okay, this type of current can be equal to I0 sine del per alpha. As I0 is very small, its value when multiplied with sine alpha cannot be represented as a big picture. In our previous equation, you will see I0 is lonely there. You will see I0 is sitting lonely there. Okay, we will replace I0 sine del alpha from I0 sine del plus alpha whole square. So it will represented as n plus I0 is sine del plus alpha. Okay, this is very historic relation for our particularly turn ratio, particular transformer ratio, which is R, then is equal to n plus I0 is equal to sine del plus alpha. So it will represented as, in case of ideal situation, our particular transformer is always be equal to our particular turn ratio in case of ideal equation. But in practical transformation, this no load current or core losses make incorrect our particular transformer ratio, and where in particular transformer ratio R is not equal to n. So in case of ratio error, where we have some we have numerical formula like nominal ratio minus actual ratio upon actual ratio multiplied by 100, then a particular core losses where Im sin del alpha and Ic cos del alpha represented as a magnetizing and core loss current, they give that our particular ratio error is directly dependent upon our core losses. As the core losses are increasing, our ratio error is also increasing in our system, as R is not equal to N. This Im, as the particular core losses are increasing in the system, okay, the ratio error is also increasing in our particular system. You will see this whole particular equations in our particular system, where n minus n plus ic plus is, n plus is ic plus is, this will give that particular our ratio error is only and solely dependent upon the core losses of our particular system. So as we conclude in our particular lecture, the ratio error or the inequality between the transformer ratio and the nominal ratio is solely dependent upon the core losses of our particular transformer. Okay, as the core losses are increasing, the ratio error in our particular CT is also increasing.